Um, Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Mckayla, and today's video is going to be about Caelan and I breaking up. If you're wondering, both the kids are napping. Timmy's right there, and Gracelynn is in another room so she doesn't get woken up if Timmy wakes up. But I'm gonna try and get through this video without the kids waking up so I can just get it done. Probably not gonna edit just because I don't know, I just don't want to really rewatch this video, but I might. So I don't even know where I want to start. So obviously you guys know that Caelan and I broke up, and our relationship hasn't been good for a while now. We were happy sometimes, but most of the time I felt like I wasn't. I don't know about him. I can't speak about how he felt, but I know we were fighting all the time, and it just kind of got controlling. I wasn't really allowed to do anything without him with me, and stuff like that. It was just getting to the point where I felt like he was being obsessive. And I told him that a few times, that I just didn't like how clingy he was being and stuff, and how every time I went somewhere it was an issue, or whatever I bought became an issue. So yeah, I just felt like I wasn't happy, and I felt like the relationship was going in a bad direction. We were seeing a counselor, but he wasn't really helping, because anytime I wanted to talk about anything real, in front of the counselor, he was upset about it, because it obviously didn't make him look good. That's why we're going to a counselor, to fix things. But if it didn't make him look good, or made him look a certain way, he got angry with me wanting to talk about it with the counselor. And it's just we couldn't fix any of our issues, or any of my issues. So basically I've been kind of seeing a counselor. I started going alone, and then he just started kind of tagging along. But every time we talked about how I felt, and what's going on in my head, so we could fix the relationship. And Gracelynn's crying, but I'm kind of I'm gonna get her in a second, but I want to see if she'll lay back down and put herself back to sleep. I'm just gonna go get her real quick, and I'll just put her in the video. Okay, so where I was at. Basically any past issues we had couldn't be, talked about or fixed, because I could never talk about them. And I talked to the counselor about a few things that I was worried that I had. I asked him if he thought I had bipolar disorder. I asked him quite a few things, and honestly, I wasn't diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I haven't officially been diagnosed with anything other than PTSD, which I have talked about in my previous videos, which just causes my anxiety. And as you guys know, I have medical marijuana for that. But that's really the only thing I've officially been diagnosed with, because whenever I was listening to the live that he went live with, he was trying to make me sound mentally unstable. So I wanted to clear that up.
Did you get her?
Yeah.
She must have gotten awake when I come out.
Yeah, she did, but she's okay. But I wanted to clear that up, just because I haven't been diagnosed with anything other than PTSD. And even if I did have bipolar disorder or anything else, I'm seeing a counselor for it to fix it, and a med doctor to fix it. So even if I, you know, did have one of those things, it doesn't make me mentally unstable. Like, I can still be a good mom and everything like that. So I don't see why that got brought up. Then she said if, like, his family said some really inappropriate stuff, and I'm not going to I'm not going to say it again because I obviously don't want it to be in the spotlight, but some really messed up things were said, and I just want to say all of those are false. The police they called the police on me, and said that I was harming myself and could possibly be harming the children, and just some other stuff. So they came over to do a well check, and obviously everything was fine. The officer said, "I'm sorry for wasting your time, but you have to understand sometimes whenever like two parents are like fighting for custody in court that this happens a lot." And I said, okay, and I'm getting the police records for court because obviously I completely checked out. So I'm gonna get those and make sure, you know, that I show the court that everything was perfectly fine. Like, my daughter was sleeping and they had to go into the room she was sleeping to make sure she was still alive. They did the same thing with my son. Oh, hi baby girl. Yeah, so that did happen. And then the cops just told me if I needed to get any of my stuff from my house, to just call them because they want to make sure obviously nothing physical happens. So yeah. So I did that the next day just so I could get a few more clothes because I literally had nothing for me or the kids because he won't let us back in our house. So I literally had nothing. So I called the police and I just said, hey, I need a standby officer. I just got to get some things from my home. There was an incident yesterday and I was just supposed to call if I ever needed to go over there. So he stood there and yeah, I got stuff I needed, a few things I needed. And that was that. And then, yeah, so that happened. And then the kids have not been in their home because I'm not going to live with Caelan. Obviously, we broke up. Like, I don't feel comfortable, like, living with him because we're not together. So I asked him to please leave because I pay all of the bills, completely all of the bills, the exact money that rent is. I make sure I have it every month, the amount I need for utilities, credit card bills. I paid for everything with every, like, it was all my money is what I'm trying to say. He didn't give me money to pitch in and help with that. So every month I was paying $98 for our living room set. I think I said every day, but every time I had to pay bills, I paid $98 for our living room set, $665 for rent. I paid $300 for electric once, and then the next time I paid like $150 or something. I paid $87 for gas every month. I pay $59 for Wi-Fi every month. I paid the tax and his like family's phone bill so he could upgrade his phone before, and I did get that money back from his family though, but at the time I had to pay for it so he could upgrade his phone because his was broken for so long. I paid for pretty much everything in the house except for a few things. He sometimes paid the bill for our bed set. Sometimes, the rest of the times I paid it. I paid for Domino to go to the vet. Yeah. And on top of that, I had to pay for my medical marijuana, like, card and, like, visit and all of that. And I have to pay, like, every 3 months $100 to keep that. So I've just been paying for everything and it's been, like, really hard. So yeah, I just feel like it's really unfair that he won't let me and the kids come home without him being there. I feel like that's really selfish, and I feel like that's not what a father would do. Like, let his, you know, ex-girlfriend, baby mama, whatever you want to call me, leave with his 2 children back to my grandparents. While he stayed there, and I already paid rent, so he has a whole free month there. Like, I don't think you guys understand how stupid I feel in the process of all of this. Like, I'm getting so much hate because we broke up again, but you guys have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. Yes, I posted happy pictures. Yes, I was happy some days, but the majority of the time we weren't happy, and we never should have gotten back together, and we should have been smarter than that and co-parented and focused on that. And for that, I feel bad about, because, you know, obviously our kids were, you know, we were all living together again, and now we're not again, so the routine's all messed up. Like, I feel guilty about that, but in the end, I couldn't see myself marrying Caelan, and I tried to many times, and I made many promises to Caelan, like, we'll get married, like, stuff like that. I promise I won't leave you, but in the end, like, I was just so unhappy, and I was constantly pretending to be somebody who was happy, and I just didn't want to pretend anymore. So I left, and then he made it a big deal because I didn't want to come back. And then whenever, you know, I said I don't want to come back, he makes me feel bad for it, and like my whole life's falling apart. And then his mom is texting me again, and it's just like, I don't even know how to explain how I feel. Like, I'm feeling better every day because I know I did what was best for me and the kids. Because the kids, you know, they don't deserve 2 parents who are together pretty much for them and to be happy, like, to not be happy. Like, that's a toxic environment. Like, there should be 2 people in the home who love each other, you know? So, yeah. I don't know, I just feel very, like, there were so many lies in Caelan's live story. I don't even know where to begin. Like, I addressed a few things, and like, I don't know. I'm just trying to put this to an end because it gets to the point where I want to completely quit social media. But I love, like, my job. Like, I don't know where to go about it, so I'm kind of in between of if I want to quit or not. I'm just kind of posting this and going from there. But yeah, I can assure you guys we will not be getting back together this time. There were just things that were said and things that are being done that I just can't handle it anymore. Like, it's breaking me down so bad. And I felt worthless, but now I'm feeling much better. I'm in a much better state of mind. I'm getting a lot of support from my family, and I haven't really been on social media at all, and that's helped. I don't know, so I'm just kind of taking it day by day, and I just want to update you guys where I'm at. And just leave it at that for now. Thank you to everybody who did support me and who, like, you know, were not being, like, crazy about the situation, like, over, you know, reacting to it. Like, just thank you to those people. And I think that's all I'm gonna say for this video. If I missed anything, I'll probably, oh well. I'm not talking about this again, so yeah. So it's kind of loud in the background, and I'm in a different spot, but I just wanted to include something about the house situation. Timmy does, like, remember that's where we live. He was outside yesterday and he was playing, and he looked across the street and he said, "Timmy's house." And I said, it was Timmy's house, and like it's just really hard because, you know, Caelan won't let us, like, it's best for him to stay there and us leave, is what he said. So yeah, and he hasn't asked to see the kids in 3 days. We took the kids over there about, I think it was Friday. And whenever we took them over there, they were there for a few hours, and he texted us and said they've been here for a long time, so you can come get them now. So this clearly, like, this whole situation, it's not about the kids. It's about him trying to get back at me, make me look bad. Like, it's always been like this too, but this time I actually have, like, proof that, you know, he's not making it all about the kids and stuff. So I just wanted to include that because I just think it's so not okay that he would take the place for me, that I paid all the bills, that everything was in my name. Like, he has like, he was on the lease with me, but everything else was in my name. And the kids got used to it, and he said it's best for him to stay there and for us to leave. Like, that just blows my mind because, no, if I was in his position, I would have left because obviously, you know, he would have the kids. Like, I just don't, it blows my mind. It really blows my mind. And there's nothing I can do about it because he won't leave. And since he's on the lease, nobody can make him leave. So yeah. Another thing I forgot to add was he also doesn't have a job. So, I mean, he does, but he's laid off, and whenever he does work, it's like never. And yeah, so he doesn't really have a job, and he can't afford to help me with anything. Like, and he wasn't trying to get a job. He told me that I could support him since he supported me back when I was 17, and we lived in our other apartment. So I was supporting him and the kids and myself without any help since we've moved in there. So yeah, there's like no way he could even like afford to like take care of the kids alone, or, you know, pay the bills at like my apartment. So it's just kind of like to the point where it kind of confuses me why he would put himself in that like position to pay bills and stuff when he knows he can't. So